Ed Smith. I've lived in Oregon now steadily since 1988, but actually first came to Oregon in 1973, went to high school here for 3 years. Well, one of the things that all schools have to do is be concerned about the effectiveness of education. And that starts from how teachers interact with students and the facilities with which we have to educate people. And one of the things that I really feel has changed in the last 7 years, certainly 7, 8 years that I've been involved with the district, I've seen a real move towards an understanding where children really have to be prepared for a much broader world than just Oregon. The teachers are taking a stand where they have to educate kids to be prepared to not just work as we might have 20 or 30 years ago where we thought about farms or small businesses. You have to be ready to work in a completely international arena. And I think that our teachers have stepped up to that and are making steady progress to improve how that can be a part of our educational process here at Oregon. Certainly our facilities have improved tremendously in the last 7 to 8 years. We've built a more unified campus. Our buildings today are probably in better shape, especially a building of this age, which was completed in the 1930s, is probably in better shape than it was 20 or 30 years ago through some of the renovation and upgrades that we've made to the building. And that's been done in a time of pretty dismal economic position for a large number of Illinois school districts. And we've done that through good financial management, and we have one of the highest ratings of financial security that the state gives out. So it shows responsibility towards you're teaching a holistic process where the teachers, the financial, the buildings all work together to show students how you organize your life, and it all works together. And, so I think that there's just been an overall upgrade, and you see it in our test scores, which have improved vastly, especially in the last 3 to 4 years. The overall effect is one where I think students are more prepared. Well, no town in America or anywhere in the world for that matter is held unto itself anymore. The world is highly integrated, and interconnectivity of communities is so important. I see Oregon as one it's kind of breaking out of its shell. I mean, we realize that it's no longer a cloistered community that just has to worry about Oregon and Mount Morris. It's really about how we prepare people for the world environment. And I think that is probably one of the biggest things that I see changing, being a person that saw Oregon in the early 1970s, where it was by itself, basically, in the middle of a cornfield, and now we're not in that position. And the community is stepping up to that and understanding those changes. The internet and how we communicate has really brought the world to our doorstep in a lot of ways, and some good, some bad. So I believe that that's one of the biggest changes I see happening, is that we're no longer an isolated area, and it's much more part of a larger tapestry. You know, it's one thing to come as far as we have and make the improvements we've made, but there's one thing that we're all assured of now, is that change is here to stay, and it's going to change faster and faster. There's all sorts of studies out there right now that show the rate of change and the need for dynamic change in the future is happening at an increasing rate. So it requires a staff that's very tuned in to the day-to-day changes that go on in the world outside of our environment. We owe that to our students, because if we aren't presenting those in that type of change environment, that change mechanism to the students are underserved. So what I see happening here is that you're going to see more and more integration of more and more electronic devices that, you know, everyone expects, but that's only part of the equation. It's very important that the staff is trained so that they understand that, yes, reading, writing, arithmetic, and how that relates to the world is important, but we also have to help the staff be educated about how those changes take place so that they can transfer that to the students. There's numerous examples throughout the world where the educational rigor has been increased, and in America we've taken a slightly different stand, and so I think those are some changes that we're going to have to address and say, are we hitting all the right elements of preparing people for the world that they're going to face?